thanks. Yeah. So when I first started creating the logo for this, the very early iterations of Game Over, the really early idea of it initially was more of like a karma system. So like kind of what goes around, like comes around. And so it was very different from where where we are today. So at that time, I guess the representation. I mean, doing some research, the representation like of karma in a sense, there was like a lotus. So I wanted to do a simplified version of that flower and then have it like flipped to show kind of like a black and white in order to show like the reflection of like what your actions are. It kind of like comes around. But ironically, it ended up looking also like a MOBA map. And I just took it as stride. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what I intended.
I remember mentioning that. He's like, oh yeah,
that's exactly what I initially intended. Our vision for the app is essentially right now we're focusing on matchmaking because we're looking more at like mitigation of toxicity with like by finding the right people to match with because there's most of the toxicity usually stems from in-group toxicity, but we do plan on having like more than just that in the future because toxicity is such a multifaceted problem. So, but in general, the app, what we hope it looks like is a pretty easy like interface where it's similar to like Tinder or Hinge, like a similar to like a the way like a dating app works, where it's you just we have these profiles in which we suggest people that we think that you'd match up with them, and then you can choose whether or not based off of what they have on their profile, whether or not you want to play with them. And like so you can just swipe like right or left based on, if you are interested.
Mm-hmm.
Um
So I mean, I guess the idea is to give some control back to the player because I think a lot of the toxicity happens because of like Daisy was saying, like mismatched expectations or play styles, and then kind of having too much anonymity. Like you kind of dehumanize that username, and by having a little bit of interaction, having a profile, you kind of realize that this is a person. That's our hope for the app.
Right.